Terrahawks, stay on this channel. This is an emergency!
Terrahawks, Freaky Tuesday, written by Ellis Pagon from an original story idea by Chris Dale for the Terrahawks audio adventure series. Chris Dale, which is me, also reads the story alongside Ellis Pagon and Steve Beresford. The Earth year is 2020. Alien spaceships manned by androids approach the planet Mars. The NASA expedition headquarters there is spectacularly destroyed. The androids have journeyed from the planet Guk, and now their witch-like commander, Zelda, sets up her base on Mars and lays her plans for the invasion of Earth and the destruction of the human race. Alerted by the first alien attack in 2017, the High Command of the United Nations appointed Dr. Pagon Einstein to devise and establish an elite international fighting force to defend the world against the unknown aggressors. This small, dedicated team is called the Terrahawks. From their secret base somewhere in South America, they develop their sophisticated weaponry and prepare for the battles to come. In her ship lying off the edge of the planet Mars, the evil Queen Zelda was making adjustments to a strange machine.
"What is it, Mother?"
asked Youngstar.
This, you gurgling imbecile,
Replied Zelda.
is the mind transmogrifier. With it, I intend to infiltrate the accursed Orc Nest by infiltrating the mind of one of the despicable Terrahawks.
Said Youngstar, who still didn't understand.
What you need, my son,
Continued Zelda.
is to see it in action.
Zelda strapped herself into the mind transmogrifier's seat and commanded Youngstar to pull the switch. There was a series of electrical flashes and explosions, catching Youngstar off guard. When they eventually ended, Youngstar went to see what happened to his mother.
"Mother?"
Said a worried Youngstar. Youngstar needn't have worried, as the mind transmogrifier had worked. Zelda's mind was now in another body on the planet Earth. Thought Zelda as she examined her new body.
Grey hair, pale skin, a good British cloth coat. This will do nicely.
Zelda had infiltrated the mind of Mary Falconer.
It will only be a matter of time before Hawk Nest is torn, limb from limb, until it is no more!
But what Zelda had not factored in was that although her mind was now in Mary's body, Mary's mind was now in Zelda's body on Mars.
"Mother? Are you okay?"
Queried Youngstar. As Mary's mind awoke in its new body, all Mary herself could say was, "Good heavens!" She had caught her first glimpse of Youngstar, who was no oil painting in the looks department, and that's saying a lot for somebody from the planet Guk. Mary undid the straps of the mind transmogrifier and went to gather her bearings. Back in Hawknest, Pagon Einstein, as usual, was at the controls of his favourite video game in Battlehawk. He was close to beating his high score of 750. 744, he muttered. "I'm gonna do it." Tim, his medical monitor, sounded grave. "Doctor," he cried, "your blood pressure, it's..." "Tim, shut up!" Ninestein fired at another flying saucer and was just about to score another hit when his game was cut off by a message from Mary. Or rather, who Ninestein thought was Mary.
Clone? I mean, tiger?
Announced Zelda in Mary in her usual clucking tone.
This is an emergency. You and the other Earth-based Terrahawks are to proceed to a 1090 at a disused airfield 20 miles north of Dubai. I will call later with further details.
Sergeant Major Zero had overheard the message, and something just didn't sit right with him. Sir, I've been thinking. For space sake, Zero, how can you think? You must have a faulty circuit. But I have, sir. Been thinking, that is. And I don't think that was Mary. I mean, it was Mary's body, but it didn't sound like her. I never thought I'd hear myself say this, Zero, said Ninestein. But you might be right. Go around Hawknest and ask the other Zeroids what they think. We'll investigate this 1090. When the other Terrahawks had left to find the source of the fake 1090, Zero went around Hawknest to ask his fellow Zeroids about what had happened to Mary. But no matter who he asked, like Zeroids Dsweet, 35 and 55 to name a few, none of them had an answer. Even the Zeroid's resident genius, Zeroid 85, was baffled. "Oh, now I can honestly say," he began, "that I have no idea what's happened to Mary." "Some help you are," muttered Zero. On Zelda's ship, Mary in Zelda was still trying to figure out who Youngstar was. "This must be one of Zelda's monsters," assumed Mary in Zelda to herself. "But why does he think I'm his mother? I'd better play along so I can escape."
Mother, it's me, Youngstar,
cried Youngstar, hoping for a reply. "Why, of course it is," said Mary in Zelda. "Do forgive me for asking this, but where might you keep the Zeefs? I may need one for an invasion." Youngstar was rather taken aback by his mother's newfound kindness.
My mother's not herself.
Thought Youngstar out loud.
She's never been nice to me before.
Mary in Zelda would have to gain Youngstar and the other androids' trust if she were to escape, which, over the course of the next few hours, she did. She helped cook their dinners, bathe Itstar, and assisted Youngstar with opening an account with the First Bank of Mars. And it was while Mary in Zelda and Youngstar were doing this that Youngstar let his mother into a little secret.
There's a save info repairs inside the Rhino,
said Youngstar.
It's faulty, but it should work for your invasion, Mother.
Thank you, Youngstar, replied Mary in Zelda, and she made her way to the Rhino. There, she saw the Zeef that Youngstar had described earlier. It was an older, rather beat-up model that was bound to be uncertain in performance, but that didn't stop Mary and Zelda taking the controls and blasting off towards Earth. While all this was happening, the rest of the Earthbound Terrahawks had worked out that the 1090 was a fake, so they returned to Hawknest, where they decided to confront Zelda in Mary. "Was that fake 1090 your idea of a sick joke, Mary?" snapped Ninestein. My, I do believe I detect adrenaline," observed Tim.
Correct, Ninestein. Yeah!
Cackled an unfazed Zelda in Mary. Zelda? Now the Terrahawks were worried. "It's as if Mary and Zelda have exchanged voices," remarked Kate Kestrel. "And personalities," added Hawkeye. "Or maybe," said Ninestein wisely, "it's something else entirely. I have this theory, and I don't like it, but it's the only one that fits the facts." In Spacehawk, Hero had picked up Mary and Zelda's Zeef on the long-range scanner. "Doctor," alerted Hero when he made a connection to Hawknest, "there is a Zeef in Spacehawk's sector."
Should we shoot it down, sir?
asked Space Sergeant 101. 10-0, said Ninestein. "Let it through. If my theory is correct, then Mary's mind is aboard that Zeef." Ninestein's theory proved correct. The Zeef landed outside the White House with Mary and Zelda on board. She went to join the others in Hawknest's Grand Hall. "Tiger, what in Spacefire's going on?" Mary and Zelda asked. "I'll tell you later," Ninestein replied. "What we have to do now is find some way of getting you back in your own body." Sergeant Major Zero and Zeroid 85 saw this as their time to shine. "We've put our heads together, sir," began Zero. "And we reckon," added 85, that the data dump might help in this situation, they said together. The Terrahawks gathered in the reception room of the White House to watch the proceedings on the room's wall monitor. They could see Sergeant Major Zero, Zeroid 35 and Ninestein preparing the data dump inside Battlehawk's central control. The two Zeroids' plan was to extract Mary and Zelda's minds using the small cubicle and then put them back in their normal bodies. "She's all yours, Zero," said Ninestein. "Let's hope this idea of yours works." Mary and Zelda and Mary entered the data dump and Ninestein closed the door. The familiar sounds of the dump could be heard by all as Mary and Zelda's minds were extracted, leaving their bodies empty husks. Then, Zeroid 85 put his flexible tube apparatus into the control panel beside his perch. "What is you doing, lad?" asked Zero. "I'm reversing the polarity of the neutron flow," said 85 smartly. "Like that time traveller off the television. That way, the data dump will put the correct minds into the correct bodies." When Tiger put Mary and Zelda's bodies back in the data dump, 85 hoped that his modifications would do the job. To make a long story short, they did. Mary came out of the dump first. "Welcome back, Mary," said Ninestein. "Thanks, Tiger," said Mary. "It was awful in that wrinkled old body of Zelda's." "Speaking of which," pondered Ninestein, "where is Zelda?"
"Thought you'd forgotten someone?"
asked Zelda, coming out of the data dump.
"Very clever, Doctor. But you can be rest assured that you haven't seen the last of me."
She started to fade and then disappeared. There was a moment's silence, broken only by Ninestein. "Zelda reclaims herself," he said. Back on Mars, Youngstar was anxiously awaiting the return of his mother. She reappeared in the same way that all her monsters did, conveniently in front of Youngstar.
"Oh, you're back.
Said a shocked Youngstar.
How did the invasion go?"
"Invasion?"
cried Zelda.
"I had no such plans, you nincompoop. And as for that infernal contraption over there,"
she continued, pointing to the mind transmogrifier,
"it is nothing more than a failure. It must be destroyed! Pluto!"
Pluto, Sistar's pet cube, obeyed Zelda's instructions without question and destroyed the machine.
"The only mind I want to meddle with now,"
grinned Zelda,
"is yours, my son."
And with that, she asked Youngstar to put the kettle on. Despite Youngstar's protests that the kettle wouldn't fit him, he did as he was told.
"Ah, good help. You just can't get it anymore,"
sighed Zelda as she sat back in her chaise lounge.
Invasion? I had no such plans, you nincompoop. And as for that infernal contraption over there, it is nothing more than a failure. It must be destroyed. I can't f***ing say it.